At this point, it's no secret that the new executive order on homelessness and what we've seen cleaning up the streets in DC has most certainly affected van lifers and vehicle dwellers, regardless of what you consider yourself, whether you are homeless or you've chosen to live in a vehicle by choice. It doesn't really seem to matter. At this point, we are at risk of most certainly being a target. I have already talked about this in great detail on other videos, so you can click on the link that will show up somewhere around one of these corners. But today, I want to discuss how I'm personally combating this type of behavior from mall cops to law enforcement while I live in a city full-time in my vehicle. So let's get into it. Unfortunately, people like Bob Wells, who have been considered the mecca for van life tutorials over the years, have even given some ill-advised, really out-of-touch advice, saying, just leave the cities, live out in the wilderness. What he doesn't touch on enough, in my opinion, is the fact that a lot of BLM land is at risk of being auctioned off. The 2001 Roadless Rule is at risk of being rolled back, which means a lot of these public lands may soon no longer exist. Not only that, but logistically, a lot of us vehicle dwellers work in the city. That's where we make income, and that's where typically you make the most income. Not all of us want to go live out in the wilderness. We are merely using van life or vehicle dwelling as a vessel to save money on rent while we make city money in order to better ourselves. And we're supposed to be harassed and criminalized for that? Absolutely not. So I decided to equip myself with something to give me a little bit of a peace of mind. This is the 4K T800 Premium Dashcam set by 70MAI. Some of the key features are 4G compatibility, Wi-Fi, built-in GPS and ADAS, smart parking, guardian mode, and voice control. The front and rear cameras are 4K and it does record audio, but I'll let you see the quality for yourself in just a minute. I was also given a camera lens. I guess it's a protector for the camera. This is the 4G hardware kit. Unfortunately, it is only compatible with AT&T at this point. And then this is the Dashcam battery pack with 96 watt hours. So if you don't want to run out your vehicle battery running this camera at all times or while you're parked, this is definitely going to be an accessory that you would want. The kit comes with all of the cables and cords necessary to connect this. Basically, while you're driving, your vehicle battery will charge this battery pack up, and then you have all of that power stored for when you are parking and not driving your vehicle, as to not come back to a vehicle with a dead battery. This might seem unnecessary, but if you're living in your vehicle and maybe you're not constantly driving and recharging your battery to keep the camera running, I think that this would be a helpful accessory. I wanted to just quickly go through what the main set has. So when you open it up, you will get your user guide and manual, and it comes with a bunch of adhesives for your front and rear cameras. My front camera is already mounted on my windshield and it has stayed nice and strong for the past few weeks. Moving on, this is the rear camera. I have not been able to mount it because I have a very long van. It's an extended van. So this cable, even though it is quite long, just wasn't long enough to reach it. However, they will be sending me a longer cable eventually. This is actually another add-on accessory if you wanted the 4G compatibility. So basically, it's just like a little data hub. I believe it's compatible with AT&T. And they even give you a little memory card key there. This is what it looks like, all unwrapped, and it already has adhesive on the bottom so you can mount it to your dash. And it has the plugs and power button on the side there, and then that's where the SIM card would go. Now for the actual dash cam. It is relatively plug and play. It was very easy to install with the adhesives. You have your power button, your speaker, your SD card, and it came with a power cable that you can wire however best fits your van, and it can be plugged into the DC, or most people call it a cigarette lighter. and it works great. I'm really happy with it so far, so let me show you some footage of it working. The display is really nice. There's a few different buttons here. The menu and settings are pretty intuitive, so you can turn on the cabin camera or turn it off. You can turn the audio on or off. You can reverse it to where the cabin is shown on the bigger screen if you want. You can go into the settings and have it recording without the display on. You can have it recording on a timer. Really, there's a lot of cool customizable settings on here, but I strongly recommend downloading the app. This is the actual footage of the camera in my dash while me and my husband were driving along the gorgeous Blue Ridge Parkway in North Carolina. It is now officially open from Asheville all the way to Cherokee, and just recently, the parkway is now open from Asheville up to Mount Mitchell. So we cannot wait for that gorgeous color change, and it has been not only a peace of mind, but actually a really cool accessory to have the dash cam while we're out on the parkway. Depending on what settings you have, it will show the date, the time, the miles per hour, and it will also show your coordinates if you want to get super specific and track your travels. For full transparency, here's some footage of the rear camera in use. Like I said, mine is currently not set up, but so far I'm incredibly happy with the product. I think that the camera quality is really incredible, and so is the audio. This is the cabin footage, and hey, you never know. When I'm parking downtown and leave my van unattended, if anyone were ever to break in, smile, you're on camera. So this is me recording just directly through the dash cam. I reversed the cabin on the display to where it's bigger for me to see. And I have audio turned on, so I just wanted to test out audio quality, how I sound. Ignore that my whole front seat is a mess right now. But basically this is a really great example of when you would want to use audio. So for example, if a law enforcement officer pulls you over and you want record of everything that was said from both parties, it's just really great to have. I love that I keep the time and date on my videos just for record, and everything is backlogged, so even if somebody were to damage or take your camera, it's still all backlogged and I can get to it on the app and everything like that. So it really just gives me a peace of mind. You know, God forbid whether we're in a wreck and we just want to have footage to share with the insurance company to make a claim. Like I said, whether you have someone giving you a hard time or trying to maybe insinuate that you were doing something that you weren't, it's all documented. In this day and age, Big Brother's always watching, everybody else is recording you, so really you're at a disadvantage if you don't have your own footage and documentation. You just never know. I also, just for fun, enjoy having it to record some of our scenic drives. And I think that concludes the part of testing out the audio so you can hear how it sounds. You can see real-time footage of the interior and exterior of your vehicle while using the app. Of course, you can see your gallery, and there's even a timeline section, which makes it incredibly easy to quickly find specific footage if you're looking for something in particular, especially if you have a lengthy amount of footage that you're trying to get through. I found it pretty simple to select videos and download them straight onto my phone as well. At the end of the day, this executive order does not solve the housing crisis. It merely criminalizes us. Whether you're trying to survive or you chose to live in a vehicle, having a dash cam helps you protect your rights. Stay safe out there, don't get bamboozled, and this product will be linked in the description if you're interested.